Good evening, ladies and gentlemen and ladies. I want to thank you for coming out tonight. It is a wonderful evening. I hope that if you live in Virginia, Tennessee, North Carolina, that you fared better than I did, or fared well with the storms that went through today. That was nasty, nasty storm. Hello, Miss Loretta. I did see that you were coming in. You were in here earlier. Miss Justice, thank you very much for being here. Diane Sullivan, thank you very much as well. Carrie, thank you very much. I know, I hope you did well with that storm as it came through your area, I'm sure. Janice, thank you very much for coming through or coming in tonight. Jazzy Jewel, thank you. TCCT Dumpling, thank you for being here. Pen 1010, also thank you very much. And Betty Smith, thank you very much for being here. So the other night, when I did a live, it was earlier this week. Um, I passed the 1,000 mark and officially got my email from YouTube a couple days ago, saying congratulating me. So I felt like I should do a live and say thank you to everybody. This is going to be an open mic, and any and all stories, big or small, is going to be welcomed here tonight. Uh, Pat Wicks, thank you very much for coming out. Trev Time, of course, thank you very, very much. Cracking Cases with Grace, thank you very much. One Love, also being here, thank you. Miss Lorraine, thank you very, very much. Thank you, Jazzy Jewel. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. For me, it has been a long time because I only do lives twice, maybe three times a week. Sometimes I don't go on for a week because I don't have anything to say. So while it has taken me a couple years to get here, it has also been that I've only done in those couple years or year and a half really a total of less than 60 videos. So yes, like I said, I sometimes I don't come on because I have nothing to say, and there are other times I have plenty to say. So, like I said, tonight is going to be more of an open mic night. It's not going to have any specifics going on, but we will definitely take a look into um, different topics. Sorry about that. For I wanted to make sure my was being heard, and didn't realize I didn't have everything through headphones. So yes, there we go. Sheba Mom, thank you very much for coming in. Kimmy's Lounge, thank you very much for being here. Yeah, One Love. I know, I know, but I really try not to just come on here to just talk like random. I like to, be well prepared about a topic. I come on and if I pick a topic or I pick something that needs to be said or I feel that needs to be said, that's when I really, really do put a large research effort, or if it's something just off the cuff, if it's like my opinion about a situation or something, it's a total different situation. But I'm, as far as it's going to really sound like an odd statement for somebody that's on YouTube. I'm a very, very reserved person. Of course, one love. I understand what you're saying, but I'm just a very reserved person where if I don't like where something's going or the way I find something or information, I have to be me. I have to, as Trev Time was saying, you're real and you care about what matters. People notice that. I want to make sure that when I come live, it's a very it's something that is going to be impactful. Not just somebody like Candace. Ugh, can't stand calling her Can. Like Candace, for example. I'm not going to just go on a live and ramble and put my Cash App out there, which I don't have in the first place. I don't have one, but I'm not going to go in and throw in that out there just to get people to donate money. I have no interest in making money off of talking about missing people, missing kids. Yes, Miss Justice, I did see that. Leroy Bly, yeah, yeah. And for me, a lot of time, as Carrie put up here, Summer Moon, Utah Wells. If you, hello, Sylvia, thank you very much for coming out. I've mentioned Sue Lawson, thank you very much for coming out. I've mentioned many times that I live in Hawkins County. So the big stories around me are the easiest for me to cover because I have the most access to that. Not access to the parents but access to researching local views, local perspective. Same thing goes with Evelyn Boswell. Natalie for Life, thank you for coming out. I appreciate you doing so. Don't get me wrong. Just like the story that this past week, the hot story this past week, 2 weeks, was Carly Russell. Carly Russell, and and we all saw what happened there, where everybody could tell from the story from the get go, and I put it on my channel. I've covered it a little bit on my channel, where the story just did not make sense. Trev time, no, no. You're not crazy. You're an interesting specimen. You like get myself tongue tied there. I apologize. Just like you and I, we both chose to move to this area. It had nothing to do with Summer Wells or anything like that. We just liked the area. Mr. Q, trust me, I am very, very careful. Very careful about that. That's why there is a video on my channel that is for anybody else. Anybody could watch and listen to. And hello, Ziggy, how are you tonight? I know you got a live going on, so I understand. You know, uh, it's Lorraine. Exactly, exactly. That whole mess was cringe. That whole mess was cringe, and she's looking at possibly having 2 years and $12,000 in fines. of a Class A misdemeanors. Well, here's the thing, Sylvia. Thank you for mentioning that. I was thinking you didn't have to do that on my behalf. It would have been fine. I'm not going to be long. I'm just going to talk for a while, and everybody wants to join me. They're welcome to. It's pinned at the top. So, Sylvia, I actually pride myself in my channel on Brittany. Thank you very much. I do appreciate you coming in. I pride myself in my channel on covering small stories. Granted, Summer Wells is not a small story, or it did not last, and Carly did not last to be a small story either. I actually enjoy finding um, stories about that nobody's paying attention to. And to say enjoy sounds kind of awkward and wrong, but it's the fact that you're putting a spotlight on a child that's missing, and um, when you do so, it's to me to me that's the most ultimate thing that you can do as a creator. It's so easy to follow the big stories. The reason I follow Summer Wells is she, as I was trying to make a point of a few moments ago, she's practically my backyard. In the grand scope of things, she's practically my backyard. I'm one of the creators that probably live the closest to Ben Hill Road that's on YouTube. And Scott H, thank you very much. I did see the comment. I appreciate it very much for the congratulations. Sammy Sparrow, thank you very much. I appreciate that. You know, to me, it's every single kid that goes missing. Grant, we can't cover every single story. Deserves to have the spotlight, not just the Amber Alert, because we know that's a failed system, a flawed system. It deserves to bring attention to the kid, to the situation, to the story of what happened, why it happened, and how we as society, not only the parents, but society in general, can help protect the kid better. And that's what it is to me. Find Summer's Truth, not a problem. Appreciate you coming out. But as I was mentioning a moment ago, Carl, if you followed the whole Carly Russell story of what happened with her fake, we'll start with that tonight with the fake kidnapping story that she recanted through a letter to from her lawyer, a statement from her lawyer, is going to be facing some charges. Has been arrested for those charges. I don't. I'm pretty sure she hasn't had, or if she did have, it was done very quickly on Friday. Any sort of time in front of the judge for uh, the beginning of the what will be. What will be, I'm sure, a lengthy process of getting through that. Hopefully, hopefully, and I'm sorry, I'm old school. This isn't a statement about race. This isn't a statement about anything but what she did. I hope they throw the book at her. because there's there was a reason why back in, oh, I don't know how long ago it was, when somebody was sentenced to death for a crime they committed, it was done so in a public setting as to be an example and a deterrent from somebody else doing the same thing or doing a copycat of what they did. Victoria Burgess, thank you very much for coming out. We already had one story of what somebody going and doing the same thing. It was a college student from Penn State who decided they were going to park their car, and I forget, I believe people were mentioning the name Papineau. It was her last name, on the side of a highway and just walk off. Sorry, I'm mispronouncing the name, but here is the name, Katrina Restival. I think this is the person I'm speaking of. Said their name. Where'd it go? There it is. I believe that's the person's name that I'm speaking of, from Penn State University. And apparently, there you go, Papini. That might be it. Well, here's the thing, is that people didn't get the message. Don't do this. This is illegal. This is not what a person should be doing. Oh, Cheez-Its is here. The snack of choice by Carly. It's not that it's upset society or upsets the balance of things or uh, anything like that. I mean, my goodness, you had a story of, I see a kid, a toddler, playing alongside the road, but I'm driving 600 yards where I'm on the phone reporting this to 911. You know, and then fake a kidnapping, an adult napping, whatever you want to call it. It's I'm not a person to sit there and say that you got to make an example of somebody outside of the means of the law. But in this case, I think you really do have to throw the book at her. 2 years, $12,000 fine for both the crimes. Because she gets the 2 years, she's eligible in Alabama law. She's eligible for doing some time. I don't remember what the breakdown is, but she will get out on parole. I think that is an appropriate thing to do. Sylvia, that's exact. Tyndall, that's exactly right, and that's what she's attempted to do. Hello, Angels. Talks too fast. I appreciate you being here. All she's done is teach teens and others that it's okay to make such a lie up and get away with it. Well, that's why you got to stop this, because the Pepini from Penn State Penn State up in Pennsylvania, that set the precedent that you could do something like that. She went and feathered it and made this to be an embarrassment of not only to her family but to the state of Alabama. Oh, toilet paper. Okay, hello, toilet paper. I assume you're also Cheez Its. The case has wiped us out. Going with the puns, I see. Okay. If you saw me in somebody's chat the other night, you would know I was on quite a roll myself with some puns. Dolores Hayes, thank you very much for coming out. And that actually had everything to do with the another story that's in popular in the headlines. And I want to say congratulations to I don't remember the state it was. I think it was like Minnesota or Wisconsin or something like that for keeping it under wraps as they did. Aha. Okay. I see who you are now. Okay. But they actually went as far as um uh, uh, what was I'm probably have the wrong state altogether. Forgive me, but I can see her. Unfortunately, I can see her image in my head, and I can't remember her name. Taylor Shabusiness, and what she did. Miss Justice. That's another crazy story. Absolutely insane story. I mean, I hate to laugh at it, and it's like you look at these things, these crimes, and these stories. See something, say something. There is really not a topic set, but I appreciate you asking. We're just talking, and anybody's welcome to join me. It's just a random thought, kind of stream of thought, kind of night, and it's just to say thank you to everybody. If you have any questions about any specifics, stories that are out there, please ask. And if I don't know the answer, I'm sure I'll find it. But Taylor Shabusiness, man, that is another absolutely crazy story. And like I was saying, if you saw me I think it was Dumpling, TCCT Dumplings chat, couldn't help it, but it was just you get to a point with studying cases and looking at all the details of what happened, and you have to just have a sense of humor about it. And uh, if you saw that, I do apologize. Wasn't trying to be like laughing and fun, making fun of a serious situation, but you get to a point that you just have to let loose and crack a joke. Maybe it was Miss Justice. Maybe it was Juju's. Angel talks too fast. You know what I mean, though. You know exactly what I mean. Maybe you do privately, but I just did so in a chat room that day. Me and somebody else kept cracking puns, and it was just made it that much easier. Okay, Lorray. Okay, I gotcha. Gotcha. Gotcha, Lorray. I see you. Trev, I have less than 60 videos, 58 videos today. Do you know how many people I actually have blocked in that time? And I have no interest in taking that person off because I did not appreciate what they said whatsoever. It was one person. And I plan on keeping it that way. Kate, you, thank you very much for coming out. Appreciate you. Unfortunately, Sylvia Tyndall, I'm not going to highlight that because just because it's suggestive. Um, it was both. I'm not going to go into the full details of what happened, but oh boy, I can understand the reason, the length of time they spent on proving that she was not mentally insane when it happened. Miss Justice, aren't we all blocked from the farm? Not that it doesn't matters anymore. She's not talking about true crime stories anymore, from what I understand. I go over there and I can say hello, and I get blocked. That's all I have to say over there is hello anymore. She's got some rogue mods over there that just do not like people. Katerina Rostova, wait for it. It'll come. You'll have a question one day, and it just because it doesn't match her opinion, you can't ask it at all. Hey, Scott, get it right, Scott. It's from behind the bushes, not from around the corner, from behind the bushes. Wow. See something, say something that would be that would be interesting for sure, because it usually is that if you don't ask the question and it be in agree with her opinion, she tries she tries to stomp a mud hole in that person. Forget walk it dry, southern phrase there, sorry. But she just tries and just she can't get it. She doesn't get it. Dental and 2, the legendary, thank you very much. I do see you came out. I'm not here trying to knock a creator or anything like that, but honestly, if one person, if that's the one person, there's a couple of them that I'd like to see stop covering Summer Wells. But that is one of the biggest persons that needed to stop covering summer wells. Laura, that thank you very much first and foremost for coming out. I do appreciate you doing so. But you ask an excellent question here. How can these people actually believe Candace and Don's stories? My personal opinion is you can't believe a word they say. They've been caught in too many lies, too many cons, too many schemes. However, you want to take a look at it, they've been caught too many times. As I like to say, you got to have a pair of hip boots to go on Ben Hill Road because it gets deep quick. Very deep, very quick. To the point where, and I know I'm rehashing something I've said, so please forgive me, but it gets so deep so quick that one of these days they're going to come out and tell you, somebody's going to slip up and come out and tell you the straightforward truth of what happened this summer, and nobody's going to believe them because of how much manure is piled up on Ben Hill Road. Trev, I'll get to your question in a second. I do have an answer, but I believe you're giving me a dad joke. Find Summer's truth, exactly. There really are people that trying to be about true crime and don't get how to present true crime. Aurora, thank you very much for coming out. I don't know. I think I said hello to you earlier. I don't get how they haven't been pulled in for any of the crazy things they've said that allude to them knowing she's gone forever. How are they still walking around and not held on something? Well, Ronnie Lawson makes a very good point. And this comes from early on in the investigation of what happened. I believe it was probably about 3 months to 6 months, somewhere in that around that time frame, where somebody asked them exactly that. Why haven't the parents been arrested or charged? His answer was for what? You have Don Wells that did have the DUI issue. And if you look at more recent history, they with what's happened on Ben Hill Road, with people getting arrested, they're trying to clean it up. Because everybody I'm not, let me correct that. It's a bad everybody. That's a bad statement. To say everybody's a bad statement, but a lot of people, if you listen to the right people, you knew all along that particular um, holler had big time trafficking issues with illegal substances. It just, they were smart enough not to put it on Front Street so the police would see it. and was just a matter of time till they got caught up, and the sheriff's department, Rogersville, sat there and caught them. It was just a matter of time. Unfortunately, it had took so as long as it did. All right, Trev, you said, "Hey RJ, I got a question for you. What does a sprinter eat before a race?" Well, I really don't know. I never. Oh, nothing. They fast. Okay, Trev. Okay, okay. You got me with the dad joke. I know I'm a little bit behind. Forgive me. I'll catch up to where everybody else is in just a moment. You know, there's two names in my chat room right now that have a lot of irony, and a lot of people fail to do one of them. See something, say something, and then you have the other person who has a very poignant question to their name. Where's Summer? Guys, be careful. We don't need to feed into Trevor's ego too much there. Yeah, he knows he's a youngin. Couldn't resist, Trev. Sorry. Let's see here. Are we having more puns at the time? Scott H says it's futile at times. What did I miss here? Find Summer's truth. Absolutely. I'm sorry. That it means where Summer. Find Summer's truth. That's what you know. I was making a point to somebody within the past week. You know, isn't that what we're all ultimately here for? I personally, I take issues with dividing Summer's army, quote unquote, Summer's army, by people that want to say she's alive versus people that want to say she's met her demise. The end result has always been the same thing, whether it's recovery or if it's a rescue. Finding Summer's truth. Granted, yes, she's talking about. We'll get to that comment in a second. Finding Summer's truth has always been the goal. And no matter which side of the fence you sit on, having it be that justice is served for Summer is part of that end goal. Too many times we're, as a community, talking about Summer Wells. And I'm going to get off the soapbox in a moment, folks, I promise. But too many times creators, again, we're going back to the creators that should not be covering Summer Wells. They either currently or never were doing a bad disservice by talking about her, or at the beginning of what they did, it was they were did great, and then all of a sudden they turned to nothing but drama. You know, forgive my expression. I try not to curse, but piss shit, get off the pot. If you're going to sit there and be all about the drama, somebody was saying it earlier, go to the drama community. They have a seat for you over there at that table. Missy Q, it's not trying to be righteous or being preachy or anything like that. It's simply a matter of what can they prove. Just like Carly down in Alabama, what can they prove? And within the statutes of law, what can they charge her with? Same thing with Down Wells and Candace Wells. What can they actually prove and charge them with? The ultimate goal is to find Summer Wells, find out what happened to Summer Wells. Synchronicity is a very interesting philosophical point. Picking up on what Angels Talk Too Fast was asking Scott H. I don't specifically know Jung's views, but thank you, Trev Time. I appreciate that. Synchronicity, it has a very interesting philosophical debate and conversation. Oh, Angels Talk Too Fast. I've slipped up and said that word cut once or twice in a live, so it happens, but I try not to. One love, that's exactly what my channel is all about. Trying to be, trying to be. But sometimes you cannot help but allowing your emotions to vent. Yeah, Miss Q, they have property that's near. It might be not directly being Ronnie Lawson, but there's property that is near the area in general that's owned by this person or that person, whatever the circumstance would be. But there's no relationship, no familial relationships there. One love, I don't think I was pointing out your point in a negative. I think I was kind of agreeing with you, though, even though I know you meant it as a joke. I was joking, trying to maybe a little bit sarcastic, but was a joke all along. I believe we're talking about Summer. I'm sorry, Trevor and his ego feeding into his ego. Good. Thank you, one love. Appreciate that. Right. Exactly. Listen what Trevor's saying here. And I know you're asking me a question. I'll get to it in a second. Um, Ronnie Lawson's son did an unthinkable act, but that never had proved or showed nothing, any no proof anywhere ever showed that he had any knowledge of or contact with Summer. When they came to Ronnie Lawson, my understanding is they actually came to Ronnie Lawson and said, "We have a problem. We have to investigate. It's going to be close to you and your family." He actually told them to go for it. He didn't try to cover it up. He said, investigate it. At least that is my understanding of what happened with his son, with Ronnie Lawson's son. No, Missy Q. No, 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 no. That is not at all. Sure, absolutely, Trev. Absolutely. Um, there you go, Trev. I think you should be all set now. Yeah, not a problem. If you want to drop links, I have no problem with that. Trev, I appreciate that. Did he, Diane? Or because of how close it was to being him being sheriff, did they handle it discreetly and not let things leach out to the press and ruin Ronnie Lawson's attempts to run for sheriff office on his merits? Oh, Aurora, don't worry about it. I'm sure he knows you joke. So I don't believe, Diane, it was so much that he went and covered it or they covered it up. I believe it was because of the sense of not wanting to interfere with him and his merits of doing a good job as sheriff, at his reputation of being a good sheriff or deputy, that they quietly and discreetly investigated it. It's like Taylor Shabusiness. Did anybody hear about what happened before it actually went to trial and was a national story for trial? Because I never did. If I did, I would have said something. But seriously, that's exactly what I mean. Look, you when you got found out all the details, if you followed what happened with Taylor Business this past week, or I believe it was just everything was done in 1 week for her trial. Hello, Sammy. Thank you very much for coming out. Appreciate you doing so. Exactly, Scott H. Angel, I'm not trying to ignore your question. I'll think of something. Tell you something about myself that the public does not know. I'll have to ponder that for a moment. Right, right. And discretion is the better part of valor. I believe this is a say is the saying that goes. They had an extremely disgusting crime had happened. And what had either them putting a gag order on this from the get go or sealing all the records or whatever it had been, they handled it with great discretion because they had to. That it was going to turn into a media circus. It was going to turn into a media circus if they didn't. And they had to keep a hold of that control on the whole news story. At least that's my impression, my personal opinion about that. Oh yeah, Sylvia. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I don't remember what the husband was in jail for, but the dad being in jail for makes you sit there and start to ponder is like, is there a, is this a criminal enterprise? I mean, well, not exactly, but still, is this? Are these people? Did they raise her to be just a bad person? Were they bad people from the get go? For those who don't know, her dad, Taylor Business's dad, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He's actually in jail for 2 counts of SA with a minor. Where Summer 1-800 TBI fine. Thank you very much. I appreciate you coming out. See, I knew she would show up at one point. That's why I was mentioning her name earlier. Yes. I believe, Miss Q, I'm just going to put this out here. There are people that just are bad people. If you put them on all, if there was a way to find out who each and one are, and put them on an island, you would have Hunger Games. To be honest, you would have the Hunger Games, where everybody was just going to go off each other to say that they were the only one to survive on that island. Going back to what Angel said, so I don't forget. Tell you something that you don't know. The storm that happened to go through Virginia, Tennessee, and North Carolina areas today really scared the crap out of me. I've been through a couple of tornadoes before with different places I've lived. And I was very surprised. I would be very surprised if there was not an investigation into what the storm today that went through my area, and to find out if there wasn't some sort of level of a tornado or straight line winds. The weather said that it was 60-mile-an-hour winds with hail, quarter-size hail. But I can tell you that that wind was so loud, that rain was so loud coming down that you could not hear tree branches snap. Yes, there was a few moments that it sounded like a freight train, like you hear always on stories. There was a few moments that did sound like a freight train. Whereas Summer, when I had TB, I find you have me exactly right with that. You have me exactly right that with that. I will be honest and say that is actually a fault of mine, that I am a sweetheart purse kind of guy, very down to earth. Try to approach everything with understanding and not be judgmental. But if somebody does piss me off, it takes a long time, very long time, to build that trust again. Big believer in the statement that the Bible says you have to forgive somebody, or you know, but forgiveness never means to forget what they did. Somebody may need to hear that tonight, for all I know. But thank you, Where Summer. 100 I swear I can speak. You wouldn't know that I speak. I work on telephones all day long. You know, for as much controversy it is, there's a guy on that has a video on YouTube. It's called Baggage. And I'll go ahead and find that real quick. Um, where is it? You'll have to forgive. I try not to talk about religion. I don't have a problem talking about theology or somebody's um, religion's ideology. This is a minister, and they took a different approach, and it was controversial back in the day that he did it, and I can't find it. He was Rob, I can't remember his last name, but he did a video, and he called it Baggage. um and he makes an excellent point, and maybe somebody needs to hear this. It's only like a 10 or 15-minute video. Unfortunately, I'm not finding it, so that's why I'm stammering a little bit here. Um, oh, don't worry, I'm breathing. No worries. Lisa Kleckner, thank you very much for coming out. Uh, or luggage. Maybe that is Rob Bell. I think I found it. It's a 14-minute video, and yes, I did find it. And I'm going to go ahead and drop the link to it in the chat here. If anybody wants to grab it and take a look at this at a later time, they're more than welcome to. Like I said, please understand he is a minister, so you are going to have, whether you agree with him or not, you're going to have principles or ideas that are Christian. And this is the link for that. He goes and makes an absolutely excellent point. And he's talking about a woman that came up to him in his ministry, and she had not told him for years upon years upon years about what she had gone through, but he knew that something was going on. And one day she drops the total bomb, and that she is a DV survivor. The video luggage, it's all about explaining exactly what I was just saying. Forgiveness doesn't mean to forget what happened. Remembering what happened can actually help you survive, help you get better and get beyond that in a bad situation. And that's what he goes into explaining in that video. And is where I get the idea of, sometimes you have to just walk away, or you have to let go, forgive, but don't forget. I worked on Saturdays, and my power kept going off and on and off and on. It couldn't make out what it wanted to be during the storm that went through this area. But we needed the rain and the cool down, because my goodness, I don't know about anybody else. I might live in the South or a southern state, but I don't like 90-degree or hotter temperatures. Low 80s, mid 80s, I can handle that. I can deal with that. No, no, I'm not going to ignore Angel in chat. I actually like Angel. I enjoy her lives when I can catch them. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay. Trev, I guess I'll be looking forward to that. Um, um, there must be an interesting history there that you have to explain to me later for. No, Sylvia, yeah, you're blessed not to have the storms that we have. Uh oh. Uh oh. Carrie's going to crack her whip. Sylvia, yeah, you're kind of blessed with living in the UK and not having the kinds of storms that we have here. Um, we get extremely wild weather. Oh boy, some states are less prone than others from getting anything from a hurricane to a tornado to. I don't think there's any state except for maybe no, well, no, Northern California, maybe Arizona. I don't know. I've never ever remember, and this is somebody. If you can tell me that if I'm wrong here, please go ahead and do so. But I never remember ever hearing that Arizona gets snow. I know where Miss Cube is from. Tornadoes, almost every single state gets them. Miss Cube, be careful not to name such a specific place, but enjoy the buffet. Oh, you said no to going to the Borgata for the buffet. Okay, never mind. And to be honest, Miss Q, the only reason I know about what you're speaking of there is because I grew up in the um, Philadelphia metro area myself. Tried living in Arizona, and the extreme heat was unbearable. But they like to claim it's a dry heat instead of a mic drop. That was a mouse drop. They like to claim it's a dry heat. You don't feel it as much. Well, here's the thing, Miss Q. I sound like I'm from Philly, and I also sound because I'll say things like water, and I talk about Wawa, and um, I'm a huge Eagles fan, so football season, I do mention that once in a while. But if I get really rolling, all of a sudden Boston will come out. So you never know. East Coast, I've lived up and down the East Coast almost all my whole life, with the exception of probably, well, I lived in Alabama. That was for about 5 years. I lived in, um, so yeah, pretty much the rest of the time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, Trevor. Yes, Trevor. Football is Eagles. Um, Hockey is the Flyers, but Flyers were not my favorite team. I know their history. I know a lot about the Flyers' history, being on the TV all the time. My favorite team growing up is the team that used to be the Carolina Hurricanes, which is the team they went and moved from Hartford. They were the Whalers. So Miss Q, it's War Eagle around here. Um, since you don't know, I'll go ahead and explain it. Um, there's actually Roll Tide has everything to do with this Alabama University. I don't know the full story, but War Eagle, even though it's the Auburn Tigers, um, which makes no sense at all until you hear the story behind that. There was I don't remember when the dates of this or what years this happened, but I want to say it's probably 1930s, 1940s, somewhere like that. I believe it was after World War One. A soldier came home from the World War One and found a bald eagle, American bald eagle, that was hurt, and he nursed it back to health, and he got permission to use the stadium to help for the bird to have it be somewhat of a controlled setting, and to let the bird loose so it can fly. But the problem was is that the bird would just do a lap around the field, flying around the field around the stadium, and would return to the soldier. And it took a while before the bald eagle, the bald eagle, would actually fly away. But every single time he went into that stadium and let the bird go loose, so it could fly away after he nurses back to health, it would always return to him until it was ready. And that's how Auburn got the nickname War Eagle, or the saying War Eagle, the greeting War Eagle. As legend has it, it has everything to do with that soldier nursing the bald eagle back to health. You use your feet in football, you use your feet in soccer. It's just that Americans, we identify football as a game that's closer to resemble rugby. I've adapted saying y'all since I moved to the South, but you're right. When you're in Philadelphia, you don't say y'all. And Trev, I'll forgive you for being a Dallas Cowboy fan, but please don't wear any Cowboys memorabilia. I just can't. Because then I'll have to start mentioning that, we won the Super Bowl in 2017. And how long has it been for the Cowboys to win a playoff game? To be a contender? Yeah, Roll Tide, I don't know the history and why. And to me, it actually makes no sense that Roll Tide has anything to do with Alabama. That may be, but it was 30 years ago. I'll stick with a history of 6 years ago and being in the Super Bowl last year. Ever since the 2000s came along, it's been very good for the Eagles. Ah, okay. Yes. Crimson Tide is the mascot for Betty Smith for Alabama, but I don't understand how or what the Roll Tide has anything to do with it. Jazzy Jewel, I cannot for the life of me have anything negative to say about the Patriots because my son is a Patriots fan. So I can't say anything about the Patriots. Yeah, Betty Smith. Yeah, their mascot's an elephant. Miss Q, you're right. Missy Q, you're right. The whole rivalry with the Cowboys in Philadelphia has more so to do with the fans that that chose to sell out in Philadelphia and cheer for the Cowgirls than it has anything to do with the football team because they're so obnoxious and hateful towards the team in Phil to the Eagles and their and the fan base of the Eagles that it made it a rivalry. Frankly, if you really talk about the history of the Cowboys, nobody cares in Philadelphia. But anyway, gonna get off sports, guys. Gonna get off sports. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Hold up. We got to correct this. They were cheering an amazing hit and a really good play. I mean, if you remember back to the 80s and 90s, football was brutal. Players got hurt all the time. You had a football game that was named the body bag game. The problem was is they were cheering a really good hit, really good tackle on a really good player. When the stadium realized he was hurt, they shut up and sat down. Philadelphia Eagles fans have a reputation of being ruthless and aggressive with other fan bases, but they don't want to see players get hurt. And if you listen to what Michael Irvin had actually said about that, he says he realizes that was a situation that they were cheering a great play, a great tackle, and the injury actually saved his life. Listen, Q, I agree. I agree. I agree. But we don't want to upset Trev time too much here. Trust me, if any fan base gets it worse than the Cowboys, and yes, there are fan bases that can get it worse in Philadelphia than the Cowboys, it's the New Jersey Devils. They're more hated in Philadelphia um, than the Cowboys are. Yes, Miss Q hockey, exactly. It's misunderstood facts. Oh yeah, when I do something like this, I literally say no topics are off the table. No topics are off the table. We'll talk about anything. We'll have a night where we talk about anything. Not a problem. Julie Hayes, thank you very much. I did ask if anybody knew of snow in Phoenix, so okay, there we go. Or in Arizona. So Phoenix, Arizona apparently does get snow occasionally. Oh, I'm gonna have to disagree. This south food here in the South is actually really good. Food in the South is really good. Some etouffee or crawdads or anything along those lines. Oh my goodness! Nice plate of etouffee with some cornbread. Oh my goodness! You cannot go wrong. Yes, Sylvia. Geez, it's a snack food that I sit there and question why they make it because it seems like they are always on the shelf and fully stocked on the shelf. Never see go to the store and see any missing from the snack aisle. Oh my goodness, heartbroken. Sorry, um, just don't like them. So thank you for the email. I appreciate that. I've never seen a box missing from the shelf. It's like they just like multiply or something when they're on the shelf because they're just fully stocked all the time. If you hear me typing, I apologize. Betty Smith, absolutely. Some good Creole, New Orleans. Like I said, a little bit of etouffee with some crawdads. Oof. I just can't stand the heat and humidity down in Louisiana. Otherwise, I'd be there. Oh, fried okra. Oh my goodness. And hello, Miss Cosplay. How are you doing this evening? Thank you for joining us. Trev, I do appreciate you being here. I very much. I'm glad you stopped by. I'm not too big on figs, but okra. Oh yeah. Fried green tomatoes. Oh yeah. You don't know what? Oh, you're in England. I forgive me. Okay, hold on, hold up. Oh, let's take a look here. Oh, that's wonderful. When you go and want to find a image of something, what okra is in this particular case, it shows you everything but. Okay, here we go. So I went to yumly.com just in case anybody wonders. Yumly.com is a good place to get uh, recipes, in my opinion. This is what okra looks like chopped up, cut up. It's actually a long um, plant, pretty much about the size of a celery stalk. And you pretty much um, do a little bit of a dredge with egg, flour, and put it back in egg, and then bread crumbs or planko, and you fry it in a little bit of oil, or in the South they say grease. Oh, Miss Q, don't worry, I'm not mad. But that is what okra looks like. It's delicious. So, Missy Q, I don't see how Trev could have given memberships because I don't monetize my channel. So I don't understand what that comment is about. There you go. BB Diamond explained it as well. Thank you very much for coming out. Oh no, don't worry, I'm not mad. Yeah, I don't monetize my channel. I used to make a big deal over it, and not a big deal over it, but used to say, and I'm going to say it right now. If you like tonight's topic conversation and have enjoyed talking tonight and just cutting back and cutting back a little bit, having some fun, and please hit that like button. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, do so as well. Um, I do not monetize my channel. I do not feel right. It is my personal opinion. It has nothing to do with anybody else's opinion or whether or not that another channel does so. I do not criticize other channels for doing so, but I will not ever monetize my channel. You do not see me throwing out cash apps or PayPal or anything like that because I have absolutely zero interest in making money off of missing kids. We talk a lot about missing kids on this channel, and I just personally don't feel it's right to do. So I apologize. I had to type something out real quick, just a random thought, and I didn't want to forget it for later. But Southern food is, if you're into being a foodie, it is actually really, really good. You get a lot of cross culture going on. You get the Creole, which is, you get French, you get uh, some Caribbean influences in there. So it's really interesting. Yes, Cajun food, spicy Cajun food. You get some really, really good food. And of course, Betty Smith, you're absolutely right. You got from anywhere's from North Carolina all the way up through and including Maryland, Chesapeake area. You got some amazing crab country. Uh, great places to go crabbing if you're into that. And then you go up to Massachusetts and Maine, and you go find lobster up there. We have a lot of influences. The American cuisine is very adaptive, Sylvia. Um, it's inherited a lot of influences from around the world. Um, like over in France, you'll know you if you've. I'm pretty sure you've probably been there if you're from the UK. And not assuming anything, just make a statement. I'm pretty sure that you have been. Do you know what a restaurant with a gilded, a gold gilded horse head above the door means? America, we don't have this. We don't have this as a thing. But French cuisine, the gold gilded head, horse head above a restaurant's door, and it's not as common as it once was. So I hope nobody's eating dinner at the moment. They actually serve horse meat. Horse meat is on the menu. That's what the gold gilded horse head above the door means. In American cuisine, we don't eat horse. Uh, but you go in some southern restaurants and you can get gator, crocodile, something called a crawdad, which is a shellfish, lobster. Absolutely, Julie Howard, lobster. Gotta say it right, lobster. Yes, yes. So there is, you know, wide variety of what you can, what is American cuisine is just yes. I know you got. I know Alabama cousin mud bugs. Sorry, cosplay. I apologize. I haven't eaten my supper yet either, so it's 10 o'clock at going after 10 o'clock at night, and thankfully it's a leftovers night for me tonight. Missy Q, it's just the nickname of them. They go by crawdads, crayfish, crawfish. Um, Depending on what state in the South that you're from or you go to, they all call them the same thing. They're a little bit different, but they are delicious. Pancakes. Somebody had some pancakes. I don't agree. I don't agree. So I'm going to say is I don't agree. I don't agree. So to explain why I keep saying I don't agree to comments that are being put on the screen, I'm not trying to be argumentative or anything like that, but it's a crazy little story. I have never, and I mean never, and this is since I was an infant eating baby food, to ever be able to stand to eat, to stomach anything to do with a red blooded animal. I've always been well, for a long time, it was a vegetarian, but now they call it a pescatarian, where I can only eat, for protein wise, I can only eat fish. I can only eat fish, shellfish, freshwater or saltwater. There's something with the protein that's made that land animals are made of that I cannot stomach. It doesn't settle with me, and I actually get sick. Missy Q, who's making who sick? Yep, you did. You learned a couple things today. That I've been through tornadoes before today, and like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they came out with the storm, saying the storm that we had today was either had a tornado or was straight line winds, and that I'm a pescatarian. I can't eat land animals. No, don't get me wrong. Chicken, turkey do not bother me as much as red blooded animals. So if I go somewhere that I have no choice but to have chicken or turkey, I'll order it and eat it. and I'll be okay. But it's not as severe as eating a steak or ground beef or anything like that. Um, Find summer's truth is that to me. Do I still get sick? If so, the answer is yes, because the animal protein hasn't changed, and I've never outgrown the being sick from it. Um, yes, Amy, I do remember that, and thank you very, very much for coming out and saying hello tonight, and congratulations. I do appreciate that. Yep. Yep, and it's if you can't eat a certain meat, it has everything to do with the protein makeup, is what it is. Whether or not you can digest it correctly or not, that's what it is. For me, it's beef. Any beef product, any red blooded product that we eat. I can't eat it. Brown gravy I can't do because that actually has beef stock in it. I usually do white gravy or pepper gravy. Where some are wow, that's actually a pretty horrible side effect. Gotta be careful what I say about that, but that's a pretty bad side effect. I've had them once, and they are good. So, Sylvia, if you come to America, depending on where you go, um, the best places in America to go find something to eat are what we call a hole in the wall. restaurant or bar or dive, you're going to find the most interesting food and delicious food in those places. Um, find what a local recommends. Don't go to a chain place. Find what a local recommends. Like, talk to your concierge. Tell them that you want to get a true taste. If you're going to a hotel, find a reputable hotel with a concierge, and tell them that you want to find local cuisine, and ask them where a good place to eat, where the truly local cuisine is. And they'll tell you. A lot of places in the United States have dives, or what we call dives, or uh, uh, um, uh, diners. BB Diamond, I don't think I have, but that would really be the best thing to do. Hello, Butterfly Kisses. Thank you very much for coming out. I appreciate you doing so. Piccadilly's is not bad, but like I said, I would honestly stay away from the chain places though. I'll have to look it up. Oh, thank you, cosplay. I do appreciate that. Really, honestly, I do appreciate that, and from everybody that has been part of getting to the 1,000 subs. And if you wanted to know what I was mentioning earlier about not never monetizing my channel, the reason I wanted to get to 1,000 subs is because I wanted to put that out there as an example, to prove to everybody, when I say something, I mean that. That I'm never going to do the monetization. Find someone's truth, I try. All work and no play makes for a dull boy. I think that's the saying. Yeah, had me interested up until the rump roast. Or if you live in the South, you would call it a Boston butt roast. Well, guys, it's 10:30. I've been live for 2 hours. With my schedule for work, I was up at 7:30, or by 7:30 this morning. So I'm actually feeling tired. So I'm going to go ahead and wind it down for the night. I do have pinned at the top of the live, the top of the chat. If anybody does want to hit that live and join me for a few moments, I'll give you guys a few more moments to do so. I am on vacation this week, so I will be live more frequently than my normal, or available to go live more frequently than my normal. So if something happens, major happens, you never know. I just might pop up and show up without scheduling it, because usually if I do a scheduled, I put out that schedule like several hours before. Okay, so Diane Sullivan, thank you very much for mentioning that. So I have another channel that going to be start working on and putting some putting doing a live or something, or pre-recorded on this week. Um, I believe in paranormal. I'm not going to deny it. I never have denied it. It's um, it's interesting. Um, I don't believe in UFOs. I don't believe in aliens. I don't. I have a very difficult time believing anything I cannot physically, I do not see or experience myself. So I've never seen an alien or a UFO. I honestly can say I don't want to. And Julie Hayes, I'll answer that. We'll go back to that real quickly. But um, I don't believe in them. I've listened to a guy that does an overnight radio program. It's called his name was George Norrie. He was something after dark or whatever it is, where they talk about that kind of thing. And I've always found those stories that people tell about seeing UFOs. I find them as funny, just funny stories. But whereas some are 1-800 TBO find, absolutely, I do believe in a sixth sense. Missy Q, yes, I do. But the backup channel that I was mentioning is going to be um, um, I'm hoping to turn it into a um, place where I put videos of doing paranormal investigations, haunted places, and things like that. And I hope to put that kind of story or video on them. I also want to have live discussions on that channel, because there was a TV show at one point, and it doesn't exist anymore, where they talk about kids and them not experience, or them having the experiences of seeing or hearing apparitions and ghosts and hearing the voices. They're not insane, and quite often they can get deemed being or classified as being insane, or some sort of issue. And part of what I'm planning on doing with that channel is having those conversations. So, if somebody has a child that's gifted, or they're gifted themselves and they don't understand what is going on, they have a place to go to find out answers. Because I did not know what was going on when I was having those experiences growing up. Absolutely cosplay. Yeah, I've listened to George Norrie for a long time myself. And like I said, they don't get me wrong, they have fascinating information. It's really fascinating. Thank you, Carrie. There you go, folks. If you want to go ahead and subscribe over there, that way you know when I do actually post a video or go live on there. That's the paranormal channel that I'm talking about. See, where Summer TBI find 1-800 TBI find you get exactly what that channel is going to be targeting towards. Then I'm not into like doing tarot reading like somebody else, some other channels do, or anything like that. I don't get tarot cards. They don't mean anything to me. Ziggy, she was in here earlier tonight, and she's probably doing her own live now. But she has a backup channel where she does tarot card readings. She's good at it. But at the same time, if you go back and look at her backup channel, um, she had a somebody in there, and I don't remember who it was, that was struggling, with something, um, and she was reading cards for her. Well, that woman's mom showed up to me and was telling me about things that I could have no idea about. Her mom told me that there was either it was a pearl or an opal ring. I called it a trinket that she keeps on her bureau. That was her mother's. And that her mom had answers for her. She wanted to tell her, but she needed to work on meditation. Now, whether or not you believe that kind of thing or not, I respect that. Just the same as I ask you to respect that I do believe that. Yep. BB Diamond, I believe I was there when she did it, but she was spot on. So, yeah, like I said, that channel, like I probably will plug that channel once in a while, but or have my mods plug that channel once in a while, like Carrie did tonight. But I really do want to separate that conversation, those conversations, completely away from the true crime channel, because a lot of people do not like mixing that kind of conversation with true crime. I personally find it to be an interesting tool that a person can use. But I do understand the skepticism that some people have about it. Cosplay, I don't disagree. I just simply say that I can't read them. So, Sylvia, I've been to London once. It's very noisy, and I don't mean in the way of somebody in traffic or anything like that. It's very noisy to me. And granted, I was a teenager when I was there, but if I do go back to London, um, I definitely want to be in a better mindset of focus. Guys, it is almost 10:45 at night here in the East. And when, as tradition of my show, my presentations, whichever you wish to call it, my channel, of course, I do say not just my channel, but my mod's channel as well. Do you know where your kids are tonight? If you have kids, do you know where they are tonight? No matter how old or how young they are, give them an extra hug, an extra kiss, a text message to let them know that you care about them. You never ever know when it will make a difference to them, not just for you, but for them. Yeah, I was rounding up, baby diamond. You caught me. And this has been Conversations Living Room with RJ. RJ. I am RJ. RJ. I hope everybody has a wonderful night. I'm out. Good night.